In this lesson, Unit 9, we're going to talk about transformations. Transformation, the word itself, means to transform or to change in some way. So we're going to first give it a little definition, and then we'll show you what they look like. So transformation is an operation that maps an original figure called the pre-image. Okay, that's the one we're going to start with, onto a new figure called the image. Now when it says maps, that's going to be some rules that we're going to use, and I'll explain that in just a second. A transformation can change the pre-image, the one that we start with. It can change it in several different ways. It can change the size of it. It can change the position of where it's at, or the orientation. In other words, the direction that the figure is going. There are four main ones. We are going to focus on two of them in this lesson, or in this unit. But I wanted to go through all four of them first, just so you have an idea of what they are in general, just to have an idea. So the first one is kind of like the same word, but it's called translation. Okay, a translation is like a slide. We are going to take a figure, in this case trapezoid A, B, C, D, and we are going to slide it to a new location, to right here, and you'll see that these are labeled A prime, B prime. So just to emphasize that a little bit more, it looks like this. And we call it A prime. B prime has a little thing there. There's no number, it's just a little tick mark like a apostrophe. And those are the labels that we use for the image. Okay, so the pre-image, the one we start with, is just regular letters, capital letters. The image, or the result of our transformation, is going to have these little prime labels on them. Okay, but a slide is like taking a quarter, okay, and starting here, and then we're going to just slide that quarter over and down, and now we have our quarter in a different location. Okay, that's called a translation. We're just going to slide that either up or down or left or right. We're going to slide it somewhere else on the graph or on the paper. A reflection is just what it sounds like. Okay, it's like showing a reflection. This right here is called the line of reflection. And another way that we often refer to reflection is by a flip. Okay, so we're going to take this original figure, the pre-image, and we're going to flip it over to what we call the image. See how the A prime, B prime, C prime, I know they're very light, but so a reflection is going to start like this. Oh, it's kind of hard to, there. So it's going to start like this, and we're going to flip over that line to over here. Okay, so we're going to flip over that line of reflection. That line can be vertical like this, it can be horizontal, it can even go at diagonals, and we'll talk more about it as we get into it. Rotations is just what it sounds like. Okay, we're going to take a shape, in this case A, B, C, D, and we're going to rotate it or turn that shape a certain direction, like counterclockwise or clockwise, and we're going to move it a certain number of degrees. The major ones are usually 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. Okay, so you can imagine kind of like a pinwheel, if you know what that is. It's just kind of going around that center point, and it's just going to kind of like spin and turn till it gets over here. Okay, so it's not just like moving over and down. Okay, it's actually turning as it goes around. Okay, the last one is called a dilation. Okay, a dilation is either taking a shape or an image, a pre-image, and reducing it or enlarging it. Okay, so in dilations we either enlarge or we reduce. Okay, So that just gives you a little idea. There's also involved in this is called symmetry. And we'll explain more about what that is. It has some of these things encompassed into that. So when I'm looking at these different transformations, we're going to focus in this lesson on, in this unit, on translations, on reflections, and then we're going to do symmetry. Okay? So let's stop there, and then I'll come back in part 2, and we will do the notes for translations.